Hey guys, it's Perry Rebecca and I'm back here with another video. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching anyone that's interested in art or just wants to become an artist, how to become an artist in just one day. Yes, you can become an artist in literally one day by following this simple tutorial. And basically, what this teaches you is how to look at something and then create something out of shapes that you may see, which is really, really essential to becoming an artist. And that is basically what art is. So in this video, I have a art project that I made and recorded a time lapse of, showing how to turn something like old magazine clippings into something completely new and with a completely different theme. And so if you're interested in drawing characters, drawing settings, backgrounds, anything, this can help you literally with so much. So let's get right into the video.
Okay, so I just decided to start out with this like practice drawing, which some of it you can't see very well, but basically all I'm doing is I'm using some watercolor paint to go into the edges and make a good blue background on this drawing of in like an angel creature that I did. So I'm going into the background just washing it with blue color, because I really want to create that contrast. And this drawing was done in pencil, and I'm just really kind of outlining the sides with blue. And then, very important thing when you use watercolor is to blot it off with, like a towel, because you don't want that striking effect. Especially, you also want it to dry fast. So now I'm going in with black, and then I'm scrubbing it off to create a gray color. So I basically paint it with watercolor, put a lot of water, and then take a paper towel and blot it off to create a lighter color. If I wanted a darker color, I'd put more paint and less water and not blot it off. So what I'm doing is really just adding more like gray color, and as you can see the angel way better now because of the color I've been using. And now I'm kind of going in around the brush. Now I'm doing the eye. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm putting blue around the eye, and then I'm going to blot it off and finish it just to give this inside circle some more contrast compared to the rest of the rest of the painting. And then I decided to go and add more to the wings and to give them kind of this blue color. So I went in and added some more watercolor to the wings so that you can see them like way better. Then I just decided to blot it off, and it looks really good. So I was happy with that. So now I'm just kind of showing and like looking through my other drawings, and this is where I was trying to get it to dry because I didn't want it to smudge. As you can see, some of the blue, yeah. So this is a real collage part of it. So what I did is, while I was waiting for that angel drawing to dry, I decided to go into this old magazine I had and start cutting out like the pictures in it. So I found this really cool picture of a building with flowers. So what I'm doing in the background is cutting out the flowers, and then I put the picture there. So now I'm going to go and measure inside my sketchbook to see how much I need to cut off it and just what collage I'm going to make with this picture. And it was just a normal building with flowers. So I really needed to like measure it because I didn't want it hanging over the edge. So I kind of just changed the angle of the camera so you can see what I'm doing better. And I'm really flipping through all the pages, kind of deciding what I'm going to do, because I had no real plan with this. I was just like, okay, I'm going to figure something out by recycling these magazines, and I'm going to create a theme in my head. Which, this is really how you become an artist in like one day, is just repeat doing this over and over again, and you'll start to see shapes in everyday things, and this can help you drawing so much. So I cut out the matching like building, and then I added the flowers in too over the building, giving it kind of a 3D effect. Uh, and here I'm just looking through the magazine for any more things that I can use. So I decided to take this green part of leaves and create some little like leaves out of it with the green color. So I went in with like pen, and I attempted to do this drip effect, but that didn't turn out so well with the scissors. Well, the big part of art is also improvising with things when they don't work out, because sometimes projects don't work out and you have to find something else to do with it. So this is just a small time skip to where I finished cutting the leaves. So now I'm working on gluing it. So I just used some normal Elmer's glue and went in along the pages, gluing the pictures that I cut out of the magazine. And I'm really recreating that building that was in there with the flowers over top of it. Now the flowers are not perfectly cut out, okay? They have like weird shapes jutting out everywhere, but that's the point of art. I did not want this to look realistic. I had somewhat an idea of taking this and giving it a surreal style. So taking something real and then making it just look completely different. I used an index card to smooth it down as well. Then I decided to do some layering, and I didn't have enough to fit on both pages, so I just decided to do one page of that building. And then I cut out the rest of the flowers and positioned them. I decided to position them behind the other bush to create this multi-layer 3D effect, which is important because you have to know when it would be appropriate time to make those 3D effects and when it would look good on a drawing. So unfortunately, for a lot of this, like drawing part and everything, I saw that my shoulder was covering some of the art, but I can explain what I was doing. So I got an idea that I was going to turn this into apocalyptic world. So I was going to turn this part of the magazine into like this whole apocalyptic world. And that idea just came out of my head. Like I had no idea where I was going with this. Right now, I'm really just using the Sharpie marker and going over everything. I also created this like eye monster. So I decided to draw that and some, drips coming from the ceiling. And I also added this comic looking style to it. And for the flowers, which I'm doing right now, for the flowers, I really just added some extra shapes to it. It was supposed to look like a comic book. So kind of just not real life as much. And yeah. So now I'm just going around the edges, painting some black watercolor around the edges of the page to where the magazine cuttings didn't. And so now I'm just using my paper towel. Like I said, very important to use a paper towel during watercolor art to pat down and dry the surface that I'm painting, because on magazine, the texture of the paper doesn't really allow watercolor that well. So I decided I needed to make it work. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing. I decided to go in with a purple color wash. I didn't want it to look purple, but if you know color theory, purple would really help to make it look like night, like the sky was clouded with like black clouds. So I decided to do that. And after I was finished with this page, I'm just going through more and adding this darker color to the page, which you can see it way better here. And I'm adding some black. And there was a lot of water on the page, which is why it looks so shiny. But after I patted it down, I spent a lot of time doing that, it was done. So I will show a picture of the finished pages after. But I was really just trying to decide what to do with the second page. And I found a perfect magazine cutting for it. So I decided to just take this other building out of the magazine and cut it to fit the page. And it was perfect because it wasn't two separate things that I had to glue in. It was just one page. And so I glued it in and folded the edges over to make it fit on the page. And after that, I cut it and glued it with Elmer's glue to the page. So this one, I was going for the same thing. This is where I'm applying glue. So I was going for the same really like apocalyptic thing. So I decided I was going to do another more like comic-y thing, and then also cut the edges off. Just wanted it to fit perfectly. So I decided to go in with the Sharpie and outline all the plants in the image. This was a plant-heavy image. I decided to outline all the plants and then make it look kind of surreal. So I did heart shapes, blades of grass, shapes all over the, like nature grassland part, because it was basically like a grass field with a big building. And I wanted to make it look more apocalyptic. So here I'm drawing a sign that I wrote 50% off on it, and it's hanging sideways because in an apocalypse you would have a bunch of stores that were closed. So now I'm really just outlining the building. You can really see me doing that, going over with my Sharpie and outlining all the blades of grass. I really just went crazy with this page, but it turned out really, really good. And so then I went in with some red. This is more also just for a color wash effect, like I said, because it won't stick. That vibrant red watercolor won't stick. Only acrylic paint would stick to this kind of, glossy magazine type. Then I'm going in again with my towel and blotting it down and doing more of a color wash. So I'm just adding more color to the page. I think I used some purple on this one and also red. And I went around the edges of the page, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I blotted it, and after I was done with that, I was done with it. So I will show you guys what the finished product looks like. Okay guys, so this is the finished product. The whole project probably took me about an hour, but yeah, I think it looks really cool.